Hi and welcome to BeerGenius. My name is Jameson Huckaba. I have my mother, Nancy Huckaba, here, and she is classified as a non-beer drinker. And I tell people this all of the time. I say, I can guarantee you that I can find a beer you'll like. And this is one of the first ones that comes to mind. This is Lindemans Framboise from Belgium. It is a Lambic beer is what it's called. It undergoes kind of an interesting brewing process where this vat, picture like an old barn and an open vat, and whatever falls into this thing gets included in the beer. It's called
tasty.
It is tasty. It's called spontaneous fermentation. So just store that away. This has a bunch of wild yeast and some different things going on. But most notably, look at the color of this thing. It is a pretty solid red.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
It is beautiful.
Beautiful color.
But this is beer, keep in mind. This isn't juice. This is beer. It's done with barley, yeast, water, and hops, just like anything else. Although we have some fruit thrown in here as well, hence the framboise. So, tons of raspberries. A whole lot of fun. I need to introduce my other guest, my lovely girlfriend, Miss Lacey Jane. Incredible chef as well. So she gives us a little spin on what this might pair well with, which is neat. So be thinking about that.
Okay.
And on the nose, it's pure raspberry.
Yeah.
It's almost a raspberry puree, you know, with some carbonation to it, which is kind of fun.
Absolutely.
I can smell beer.
Yeah.
It smells like beer.
It is still a beer.
Uh-huh.
Absolutely. So it's kind of fun.
All right.
Definitely a nice tartness to it, almost off the bat. And it tastes like beer too.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
Very effervescent, almost like a jammy effervescence.
Jammy is definitely a good way to put it. Like this would go really well with peanut butter, perhaps. That could be fun. I love raspberry jam.
I would say just some nice light summer fruits. Nothing that's going to have to compete with this. So
Sure.
This might be great for sangrias. I mean, just kind of a new spin on some sangria if you'd like.
That would be a different spin.
Yeah,
We should
absolutely.
totally do that for a summer party of some type.
Well, and then also, with the sugar content of this, it's also potentially freezable. So if you'd like to make like a nice sorbet, a nice dessert sorbet out of this,
That would be delicious.
just throw it in your freezer, agitate it a little bit, and you've got yourself a nice lambic sorbet.
That's a thought. I love it. So, well, there are beers out there for you non-beer drinkers, and this is certainly one of the first ones that comes to my mind. They also make an apple one. They make a peach one. They make a couple different flavors, almost varietals, that are all truly beer. I'll edit this part out. I totally lost my train of thought.
It's more like a fruit wine almost.
Kind of like a fruit wine, but you have the carbonation,
Right.
which sets it apart. It's obviously not a champagne. It's not done from grapes, but it is done from fruit. And the fruit is more of it's a pretty prominent ingredient.
Well, the sugars in the fruit will ferment as well and turn into alcohols as well. So it doesn't necessarily fall into the classification of a wine or a alcoholic nectar per se, but
Sure.
With the presence of the sugar there is what's going to add to that fermentation, and it's going to provide that tartness and that sweetness, but not taking away any of the maltiness from the beer itself. So
Right.
So I've had other fruit beers, and this is fruitier than that. Do they just put more fruit in it?
Most of the time, the fruit play is a real subtle role. It is just a slight inclusion. This is over the top compared to those, but it's still really very good. The difference is the style of the beer. And for instance, 23rd Street's Raspberry Wheat, you can still taste the raspberry, but it is first and foremost a wheat beer, an American wheat beer. And the rest of the ingredients have been scaled back just enough so you get hints of that raspberry within. Here, because of the what they're trying to do with this lambic beer, the fruit is center stage.
Well, yeah, it's a lot more fruit forward than you would have
It's
to
center
necessarily.
stage.
Yeah,
Absolutely. So, scale of 1 to 5, 1 to 100.
This would be 5. This would be 100. This would be 100. This would be 5.
Sure.
I would give
For
it a
me.
5 as well. I'm not generally a fruit beer kind of girl. I never considered myself, I never liked the raspberry wheats and none of the fruit infusions that I would taste with other beers. But in the spirit of summer, I would have to say that this is, as far as the Lambic is concerned, that this is probably, I have to say a 5 or 100, if you will.
Sure. Wow. Huh. No, I think it's really good too. It's almost more of a dessert beer to me.
Absolutely.
I couldn't sit back and drink a 6-pack of these. And
yeah.
of course, they come in these bigger champagne bottles, and I believe they make smaller varieties. And you'll find it on draft at a couple restaurants around town as
Really?
well.
I'll be looking
So
for that.
the Bourgeois Pig and Lance has
Really?
Framboise on draft.
Nice.
So something to keep in mind. Typical pour is about 6 to 8 ounces, so you're not really doing a full pint of this stuff.
Absolutely.
On my scale of 1 to 100, I think it's excellent. This is the benchmark for the style, for the Lambic fruit forward style. I'd have to go with a solid 96 out of 100. It's enjoyable. It is the benchmark. As far as things I would do to it, I don't know. Why couldn't it be 100?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
Well,
it's got a lot of versatility.
Sure.
It can apply across a wide range of beer drinkers, from beginners to the more seasoned. And I think, its widespread appeal, its ability for use, not necessarily outside of drinking, but I mean, I would have to say that as far as a flexible beer goes, this might be as flexible as it gets.
Yeah, and which is funny because it's such a strong style.
Absolutely. Yeah, it definitely has a presence, that is sure.
Sure.
I mean, visually speaking, from the olfactory sense, yes. It has a lot of presence. It's got some pizzazz. I mean, for the sake of using, But I would have to say that this is probably one of the more versatile beers.
I just can't do 100 on this. I'm going to stick with my 96 because I believe I'm getting told that it should be lower than that, but I'm going to go with my 96. It's very good. The way I like to rate beers is within the style that they're supposed to be. But when you get to that stage, 95 plus, you're really competing with everything else out there.
That is
as
true.
far as what beer should be. And this is such a dramatic twist on what beer should be. Although it is beer, I just can't give it a 100% rating. So, anyway, thank you, you both.
All right.
We're going to go finish these and enjoy the rest of our Memorial Day. Thank you for watching BeerGenius.net. Check us out, and we'll see you again next time.
Be safe this holiday weekend.
Absolutely. Cheers.
Cheers.